Hello, guys, gals, and pals. Welcome back to the Disaster Tour. I'm PT, your Disaster Tour guide, and we are back with some more Bits, Crits, and Halfwits after a week off. And I realized that if I did my math on this right, so next week will be our last game before Christmas.
Wow.
We're not playing on the 18th?
No, because I gotta go home.
Oh, got it.
And if we might, that one's still up in the air. But that'll put episode 100 either on the 18th
or on
or
the
on
1st.
New Year's Day.
That's kind of cool.
That is neat.
Which is almost worth just doing.
I kind of want to do episode 100 on the 1st.
On the first day of
Yes.
2024.
I love that.
Like, that kind of just mathed out perfectly.
Yes.
Then I'll have two straight weeks of brain rot.
3 straight weeks of brain rot.
If we're playing on the 11th? We're playing on, well, I guess, yeah.
I was gonna say, if we do have one on the 18th, it could just be like a chat, like Q&A. At the end of the year,
you know
like
what?
The end of the year special or something.
If I can get the people and the mechanics sorted out, we can do the 18th as the Hunger Games session.
Yeah, I was gonna say the 18th. The 18th could be like we just opened the fucking box.
Ooh, true.
Do some box fights.
Open your Christmas present.
Yes!
We open our Christmas present, it's the box, a monster jumps out, roll initiative.
But, so what I was just telling Lyra in term was that I've been working on, since Matt sent me a video about somebody trying to figure out how to do it, I've been working on mechanics to run a Hunger Games D&D session with 24 players playing as tributes, 4 DMs playing as game makers, and then 1 head DM playing as the head game maker. And running a 24-person battle royale.
That would be wild.
Which, if I could get it done by the 18th, I know people are out of school, and I know we have enough people who play D&D.
That is true. I'm sure a lot of people would want to be involved in that.
I'd be so down.
Same.
As I said previously, I'm in like a Hunger Games zone.
But on a completely separate and unrelated Hunger Games note that definitely has nothing to do with that, the question of the day is, if your character was going into the Hunger Games when they get put on that fancy schmancy chariot and driven out in front of the Capitol, what would their uniform be, so to speak? So first we have Lyra Dreamshadow, the Kalishtar wizard from Stipvale, played by...
Hello, I'm Rosie, Von Rosie CS on the intranet. And Lyra? Okay, so I'm just rereading the book, so I have like very clear knowledge about what these costumes are. And they're supposed to evoke your district, like where you're from. And so I think that Lyra would have like a really impressive outfit that kind of like had a lot of tech going on, you know, because she's from Stipvale, who had the Inventorium and all of this tech stuff. So she'd definitely have like some cool, I don't know, like futuristic stuff going on. Maybe circuit boards stuff. Anyway, that's what she'd have.
I'm amazed you didn't just say she'd make it out of books.
She would never.
Yeah, okay, except for it's not about her, it's about the district. Okay, it's about where you come from. I just reread the books.
And then we have Karakareem, the warlock Furbolg from... Well, I can't say the hedge anymore. I'll figure out where you're from. Played by...
Hello, my name is Terminian Link VT, and the outfit that I feel Karak would wear would be like this traditional like hunter's garb, like Greek statue sort of thing. with the sole intent of whoever is like doing his PR, basically saying you have to stay in the stone until you're off the chariot, so you look like a statue the whole time.
And also,
It's
buddy,
like-
that's a pretty good strategy for your entire stint in the games. Maybe just stay
Yeah,
a
it's
rock
like
and hope
whenever
no one
you're in
kills
danger,
you.
just go. You know what to. Someone comes in with a sledgehammer and is like, "Wow, time to do some deconstruction."
And then we have Newsen Worldwalker, the Minotaur Sorbarian from Ulfast, played by.
It's me, the Sky T. I feel like she would probably, it kind of depends on, I guess we're talking about current. Like, I think there would be a lot of, like, body paint involved. I think the game, like, her stylist would probably take it very, like, tribal, to really, like, evoke that sort of, like, Minotaur, powerful, like, ancestry vibe. But take a little bit of the dress from the like museum party, so there would be like a flowy aspect to the back of it. It would be very like power at the top and then like flowy at the back, I think.
And then last but not least, we have Lulin Boldspeaker, the Minotaur Druidin from Ulfast, played by.
It's me, Brambo. I was between two ideas, and I think I'm gonna take the latter. Lulu's gonna get real goddamn slutty. We're like straight up like poison ivy. Poison ivy.
God damn.
Like floral
Wow.
fucking
Wearing a grass
Yeah.
skirt and nothing else.
God damn.
think like
Listen, go big or go
BDSM.
home.
yeah, think like BDSM culture, but like vines and flowers and shit.
Listen, this might be your last time where you get to wear something amazing. Might as well go big or go home.
Exactly. Everybody's wearing everything. Lulu's wearing nothing.
Fair enough. And then go ahead and roll me those D100s to see who gets to ask what NPC gets to wear.
Yeah, I need to open that.
Oh, that's
thing.
Oh.
We're playing the
None
game
us
of golf,
were.
right? We're playing golf,
Playing
right?
the game of
rules,
golf.
right? Golf rules, right?
No.
Golf
Yeah,
rules.
Actually,
the lowest,
We'll
the lowest
we'll
number
continue
wins.
the trend. I'll let you each ask about an NPC.
It's near the end of the year. We get it as a treat.
So should I still roll?
You can
or...
still roll. We'll roll for the order. Because I know you guys like to steal answers from
Ooh,
each
fair.
other's. Alright, now we're just waiting on Lyra.
Oh no, it's still working. So it might have to roll for me.
Do you just want to go last?
Yeah, I'll go last.
Cool, critical fail for Lyra. So, Karak, who do you want to know about?
I want to know about that kobold that I can't remember the name of right now. that new Karak back in the day. I want to know what they would wear.
The kobold is wearing a flowing trench coat that is getting caught under the wheels of the chariot.
Oh god.
Yes, billowing and then ripping them off.
They're the tribute who doesn't make it to the games because the chariot behind them tramples them when they get ripped off the chariot by their own clothing.
Well, it's because there aren't 3 of them all stacked up. It's just one. The trench coat was too long.
Talk about a wardrobe malfunction.
And then Newsen, who do you want to know about?
I want to know about Breton.
Oh, Breton is rocking the choral theme. Also, like Lulin, going real slutty.
We're on the same chariot, actually.
Slutty.
Coral
Right,
codpiece, coral pauldron, nothing else.
Trying to get-
Oh my god, that would be so uncomfortable.
Trying to get those early sponsors.
Yeah,
It'd be very uncomfortable, but kinda hot.
he's flexing those glutes.
No, he'd probably wear clothing made out of kelp with like strands of pearls and stuff woven into it.
Oh, classy.
All right,
Lulin's slutty and Breton is classy.
Lulin, who do you want to know about?
Hit me up with a base breaker.
I'm so slutty.
Nude.
Oh, damn.
Nude and painted gold.
Jesus.
Oh my god, the going full what's that statue myth called? Like the Statue of Talos or whatever.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, the one with like the bolt in the back of his heel.
Oh, Hermes? Achilles?
No, it's like a statue that like was made by Hephaestus and was supposed to be perfect, and then they tricked them by getting rid of his like a bolt in his heel, and it caused a bunch of golden ichor to flow out.
Ah.
Because it was like a whole. I'll send it to you later.
And Lyra, who do you want to know about?
Who do I want to know about? Rorin.
Oh my god.
Also naked.
Obviously a cloak that looks like it's made out of pure shadow. And a full suit of armor.
Yeah. Just as a heads up, my thing is not loading. So
This just crossed my mind.
Yeah, I guess.
I wonder how massive the chariot would have to be for Mazebreaker.
No, Mazebreaker's pulling the horses.
Would it even fit?
No, Mazebreaker is fully in the nude, painted in gold, pulling a chariot holding two horses.
He's just curling two horses.
No, they're in the chariot. They're sitting like people in the chariot as he runs down the Capitol Avenue.
Hell yeah.
I love that.
All right. Can somebody else do the recap for me? My brain is melted from essays.
To my
It's not
knowledge,
me today.
last episode,
I wasn't there, so
last episode, the party had more or less woken up and finished having their cat fight moments as we all expect, and Karak has recently learned. And within that time, Newson decided to go ahead and go through the portal, met
Bathos.
Athos, and apparently things are really, really bad.
After you all talked to the kobold. I remember now.
After we all talked to the kobold, which Karak completely was just like, "Oh, you knew me, neat. I'm not going to question that. I got too many questions in the back of my head right now."
Newson and Elliot continued to give each other the cold shoulder.
And then Elliot and Karak had a lovely discussion that was actually, there's a word for it. It's not progressive. That's not the word. It made progress. Productive. That's it.
There you go. I got you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, that it was very much like an ease-in episode.
All right, so where the session picks up then, Lyra, Lulin, and Karak, you have just gone through the portal. About an hour after Newson did. Oh yeah, Lulin went into his shield and attuned to it.
Yeah, that too.
Yes.
Yeah, and now Lulin's like half and half body, where some represents thorns, the others represents flowers.
Mm-hmm.
I think stepping immediately through the portal, Lulin's gonna be like, I need to go try and find somebody.
Yep. So when you come out the other side of the portal, you are standing in the clearing underneath the world tree outside of Ulfast. As wind kind of flows through the long grass in waves, and you see the large trees surrounding the clearing, and in the distance you can see the smoke from fires around Ulfast.
I think Lulin just like takes like the biggest hit of like fresh air. I need to go find Valiant Eye and family and make sure everybody's okay. We can meet up at my place once everybody's done in the city. If that's okay with you guys.
I don't know where you live.
If you want to come with me, you can.
I can, yeah, I'll lead the way. No worries.
Yeah.
I remember.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's like
I imagine you'll find News and Elliot before I do, but let them know once everybody's finished. Please go to my house. Then we'll
Okay, yeah.
talk
we'll
strategies
check,
and figure out what the hell's going on.
That sounds good.
All right. I mean, we'll walk to the city together, but I need to take care of a few things.
understandable.
If that's okay. Yes.
Understandable.
And Karak, I'll show both of you around because Lyra, we were here for war, not really
Yeah, not really
a holiday.
vacation. Yeah.
Let's take a moment to relief and breathe and blink and stretch and just live for a second.
So you all begin walking through. You walk across the field and you head into the woods towards Oldfast. As you walk through the woods, as you get towards the edge, Lulin, you notice that more and more trees have been chopped down and are stumps.
Yeah.
And as you get to the edge, you see that extending for a mile or two past the walls of Oldfast is this massive tent city. Surrounding the city proper and the walls.
Oh wow. Oh, I imagine that this is like a refugee encampment. And then Lulin's like, as we were like also like walking through, Lulin's like describing like the area to Karak and like Lyra is like, you know, exiting the tree is like this is kind of where like if you heard about like the battle where like you know the battle of everybody turned to stone, this is where it happened.
I haven't heard about
like,
that.
Okay, I wasn't sure if like that was
that
like
happened.
I don't know if it
I've been-
came up
I've
in
been-
conversation.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it
think
came
we-
up in now that I think about it, it did come up in conversation
Yeah.
with Newton
Yeah.
at one point.
So-
That was
So Lulin will like describe like you know this was here, this happened here, you know this is why this is important to us, you know these are the types of woods and trees and stuff. You know this plant's edible, these berries are not edible. Kind of like the whole like
that's important.
Yes.
Karak's gonna mentally write that down.
And
He's-
Karak,
he's-
you feel drawn towards this city. And the closer you get, the more powerful that feeling becomes.
Yeah, this place must be very special to you all.
it's home. This is where me and Newson were raised at.
As you break through the tree line and almost directly into the tent city outside of Ulfast, you see that people are kind of going about their business. Nobody seems to have a lot of anything. Like, these people have the clothes on their back and not much else. You can see a couple places as you walk through where there's, like, communal cooking pots and all that. And Minotaur guards are walking around in pairs, helping people, but it mostly seems like keeping the peace. You see them break up a fight or two.
Mm-hmm. Lulin's gonna walk up and salute them.
As you salute them, Lulin, they kind of just stop, almost like they're in shock, and watch you walk by towards the city.
Oh no, like Lulin was greeting them. Like he's like standing stopped in front of them, and he like salutes them. Evening, gentlemen.
Yo,
Or
yo, back.
yeah. What's the situation here? I imagine that this is a refugee camp. We heard about that there's like a plague or a disease going around. Do you two have any information about that? Because we've been gone for too long to even know about it.
They kind of glance at each other, almost as if they're debating what they're allowed to talk about, surrounded by all these refugees. You should, head to the gate. They can direct you from there.
Understood. I'll come by later, probably the next day or so, with some provisions that I can make.
Well,
If any guards could help me spread those around equally, I'll do the best that I can.
unless you've brought them with you, we're already given everything the city can spare.
I don't know. I'm a pretty good cook. I can figure some stuff out. He shakes both of their hands. Thank you for doing a great job.
Welcome back.
And he salutes them, and we go on our way.
All right. As you head off towards the gate, it seems like the people get thicker, the tents are a little more cramped together, but there are pretty clear pathways through this camp. And Newton, would you have waited for them at the gate? Where were you going?
I think I can't remember if I asked Bathos this or if I was waiting to do it this time, but I think she would have asked who ended up in charge while we've been gone, like if her uncle ended up taking back over once he was or if her father is working with him, but she would likely have asked to go directly to who's in charge to get the most accurate information, basically.
Okay, so we'll just cut to you right now then.
Okay.
Your father and your uncle and your mother, truthfully, have been kind of running the city together. There's been quite a bit going on since everything went down.
Yeah.
I
mean,
I can try and take you to them, assuming they're in the command hut. But there's a greater than zero chance that they're all off in different parts of the city running one thing or another right now.
as long as I can talk to one of them, at best to get straight to...
We'll see what we can find. If they're not there, I can send out runners and have them meet you back there.
Okay.
We could wait for your friends. Are your friends coming? Are they dead? Did they live?
Everybody's alive. Well,
what?
Almost everybody. One is a little bit of a question mark. When we got into the Feywild,
You're talking about
Lyra...
Nob.
Yeah.
Well, I can assure you that he's alive and well.
Oh. Well,
He thinks you're all dead.
I guess that makes sense, Okay, so he came back to the material plane then.
He did.
Okay.
But from the last report we've had about him, he's outside of the quarantine zone, somewhere around Koboldia.
Okay, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Well, I guess we'll have to try and catch up with him then. Well, in that case, everybody's alive, and we have a new person with us as well.
Picking up strays again, huh?
You know we love him.
For some reason.
Look, it's hard to turn him away, This one, he's got big sad eyes and a confused face a lot of the time, but, he's pretty scrappy in a fight,
Well, I hope so. One's coming for sure.
Yeah. Need all the help we can get.
Tensions in the camp are high enough with us not letting people in.
Yeah, I guess to stop spread inside of the city? Or is it just been having too many violent outbreaks?
It's probably something we should discuss at the
Yeah,
command
yeah.
post.
Let's just go ahead and head that way then.
So, Newson, you head there, and the rest of you arrive at the gate, and that's where the guards point you to go. They tell you to head to the command post. As Newson, you watch from the command post as Bathos sends out runners to go find the leaders of the city. After about 30 minutes, the rest of the group arrives. And you guys will have a little bit of time before everybody else shows up.
Can I ask what the city is like?
So,
Inside?
the inside of the city, as you all walk through it at the varying times that you do, is actually remarkably intact. It seems like a lot of the city has been rebuilt. Like, there's very few signs of scarring from the war.
Okay.
There's a couple new statues of minotaurs thrown up around detailing deeds that took place during the battles. Newson, you notice one of your mother off of the lobby is not the right word. Square outside of the command post, the main area.
Yeah.
There's one of Elnis, and notably, and this would come as a little bit of a surprise to you, there's one of both you and Lulin,
Huh.
detailing the public information of what took place at the end of the war.
Got it.
But no, the city seems remarkably intact. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of trade going on,
Yeah.
so to speak. But in the distance on the north side of the city, you can hear the blacksmiths hard at work on something.
Okay.
And the rest of you would hear this as well as you arrive at this kind of elevated thatch and wood hut that is the quote-unquote town hall for Ulfast.
I think that as they're waiting, because Newson's there on her own and runners have gone off, she'd probably be looking at the statues and kind of seeing these statues of her and Lulin. I think she would be looking at it kind of uncomfortably. Ears back a little bit in a sort of man, we did this and then disappeared kind of vibe. Uncomfortable with it being there in the first place, I suppose.
That's fair. As you're reading the deeds, it talks about you arriving, summoning the armies, but it doesn't talk about anything to do with the dragon.
Yeah.
And it seems like, even though it's not really Minotaur style, it seems like the information is a little bit embellished.
Maybe it was somebody else's.
Oh, I just lost all my audio through Discord. Hello? Hello? Can you guys... What the hell, Discord? Stand by. We are experiencing technical difficulties. Everything is fine. Discord just decided it no longer wanted to function. Give us 1 second.
Oh,
Discord decided it no longer wanted to be a functioning member of the team.
yeah.
Oh no.
Also, my camera's all bugged up for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your camera on Discord is like LOL no.
Well,
It
if
put you
other
in-
people want to turn them on.
It put you in the void and then froze you in mid confusion.
Mm-hmm.
And then Discord decided to stop being a functioning member of the team.
Yep.
You were saying, Sky.
I
You were
finished
talking
what
about
I
the
was.
embellishment. I lost you long before you finished talking about the embellishment.
Got it. I was saying that Newsom would probably find that a little bit like odd because like minotaurs are usually so much. I think the statues in general would strike her as odd, which is why it makes her so uncomfortable because like usually like minotaurs of significance are passed down in like story and legend and not necessarily idolized or iconized. So I think she would just be kind of like puzzling over this and like wondering if like who was responsible for it, I guess. But probably back turned to wherever everybody would be coming from as she's like reading it.
Yep. So the rest of you, as you arrive, you see Newson like bent down looking at these plaques across the square outside of the town hall. And Lyra, how would you feel about the fact that Newson left without you?
Yeah, wait, so I have a couple questions. How did that happen? Like what was the circumstance?
Elliot was
And
getting
whose
some.
portal is it? Is it my portal?
No,
No.
it's the portal in the
Elliot-
world tree.
World tree.
Yeah, Elliot and I were kind of spatting at like either ignoring each other or jabbing at each other.
Being catty.
Yeah, being catty, and everyone was sort of like
So
farting around.
Yeah. So
The kobold told us that the world trees are now portals that connect to one another. So basically, you like set your intention and you can walk through to another world tree.
or so you think.
Yeah, or so we think. That's it. It worked that way, as far as Newson is aware. So between the cat fighting and the just like want to get home and see what's happening, Newson ended up leaving ahead of everybody else because she was annoyed with Elliot, basically. And went through the tree. So.
Yeah. Oh, also Fire Song. Thank you for the raid.
Like, Newson, we didn't know where you went.
But yeah, also the reason that you guys stayed behind was because Elliot and Karak went into town to get supplies to send to Alrond through the teleportation circle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, here's the big surprise for you, Lyra. Everything's back in the same world now.
Oh yeah.
Everything.
That
Oh,
new.
No, I knew. I think I was there for that. Like,
Okay.
I think we got. Yeah. Like everything got jumbled into the same world, and we were like, let's go get help, or like go see what else is here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I think that.
Perfect.
So not too much of a jump here. Okay.
They are not doing their light up thing. I'm working on it. You'll just have to imagine them lighting up in the meantime.
Glowing.
I think that happened to me when my Discord crashed too. You might have to hard reset it. I believe that was what fixed it for me. I can't remember.
Yeah. In the meantime, while I work on that, pretend.
Mm-hmm.
Pretend.
This is the perfect time for you all to get creative. Make paper puppets of us, and whenever you hear us, just bump it up a bit.
Don't do that. That's creepy as hell.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just our glowing personalities will shine.
So true. So true.
Well, they're doing it on Fugi. They're just not doing it on the stream. And I have refreshed the cache.
Yeah, I think it's usually like a Discord connection issue. We can like it.
Maybe leave and rejoin. Everybody leave and rejoin the Discord.
Yeah, we can try that. Here. Hello, it's me.
Nope, still
Let's-
not working.
Yeah, then it's on you. It's gonna have to be a restart on your end.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna have to be an OBS restart, which we're not doing.
It's not an
Mhm.
OBS restart. I've definitely fixed it without restarting OBS. It's because your Discord like crashed.
Yeah. Well, I restarted it after that. I'll try restarting it again.
You can also try maybe like logging out of Fugi Tech and logging back in.
That I
That
just
could
that
also-
I just did.
Yeah, okay. Well, then we'll just be little guys. Little
Yep,
guys.
We'll do this
sit.
real quick. While this hopefully fixes itself.
Free double cookie crunch.
Ooh, I love Talenti.
Oh, it's so good.
That's the good shit.
Wait for
It
those
is the good
images to
shit.
kick back in.
I believe.
I believe. I
Hey.
believe.
Nope.
Soccer.
Now we don't have images at all.
I believe that we will win. I
Turn off browser source and turn it back on if it refreshes when you make it visible and invisible.
Blues fans out there.
Nada.
Weird. Here, let me try leaving and joining again. See if that fixes it.
Oh, something happened. Somebody say something.
Hello.
Well,
Hello.
you're back, but you're still not lighting up.
Yay!
My name is
Weird.
Barack.
All right, well, fucking Fugi Tech.
I have one last potential fix. We'll see everyone in a minute.
Oh, recreate the browser source. That could also fix it.
Yeah, which I have to reposition it, so we'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
works I can think of. Somebody say something?
Something.
Hello?
No.
Fucking Foogie. This son of a bitch.
Okay, well, in that case, I'm just gonna turn off dim.
Yeah, just leave them all lit up.
Yeah. Because they're not even bouncing. It's definitely a connection issue.
Yeah, for sure.
Which sucks, because I can see them doing it on the Fuki Tech page.
Yeah.
Ma'am, if you get whiny, so help me right now. I will give you a treat and send you to bed. I guess I have time to give you a treat right now anyways, because everything broke it in.
Mhm. Happens to the best of us.
No, it shouldn't happen at all. I hate the internet.
Oh, trust me, same.
Alright, I'm all back. Ready to- Are we live right now? Can they hear us?
No.
Oh, do I want to risk this story? I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna say it. Say it. They can't hear us. Okay. Okay, so
No, we are live.
today I got
Oh, yeah. Hold on. What?
Wait, we are?
Yeah.
Did I
We
get
are
that?
back on the
Oh,
main
fuck.
screen.
Why?
Okay.
Apparently, you put us back on.
Okay, so everyone arrives in the square.
Oh no, we found what we need to take to the hole now.
Okay, it didn't fix itself. Continue. Real quick, just for everyone in chat who may not know who these people are, everyone's going to go through real quick and say their name. Just so you have a voice to associate with the
for
name.
Voices. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Wait,
my
their character name or
my
me
character-
name?
Your character
Character.
name.
Got it.
Alright. We'll just go from same order as the introductions.
That starts with
Rosie.
you,
Okay,
Rosie.
I think I was first. Was
Yeah.
I first? Okay.
Mhm.
Hello, I play Lyra. For some reason, this makes me want to put on a voice, so that would be counterproductive.
That would be counterproductive.
Got it?
Be super counterproductive. Alright. Term, you're next.
Hello, I am Karak.
Hello, everybody. I play Newsin.
Hello, it's me, Brambo. I'm the most world's perfect man, Lulin.
Okay.
So true. So true.
So you all arrive in the square to see Newsin, like, leaning down, reading these plaques with kind of, I'm guessing, a mixed look of, like, disgust and confusion.
Probably not. More like discomfort and
Discomfort
confusion.
and confusion.
Yeah.
Awkwardness.
Oh, you're like famous.
Then
Oh, hey. I'm glad you guys were able to catch up.
yeah, sorry it took so long.
It's all good. Yeah, I
I
don't.
was giving Karak a little bit of like a little history tour
Oh, it
Oh.
was very,
on our way here.
very enlightening. This place feels nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually not so locked down like this, but
I mean, neither was the place I was from.
guess that's fair. Kind of happening all over the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty, honestly, kind of weird that there's statues of people here. Especially, well, I'm personally uncomfortable with it, but I don't know, Luling, I don't think I can ever think of a statue of any Minotaur. Let alone like 4 now.
Why?
She kind of gestures
What?
to everybody around.
Why would you be uncomfortable with? Is that another person?
No, it's not another person. It's that like usually
Okay, good.
when it comes to like making a name for yourself in Minotaur culture, we don't usually like idolize people like this. It's not your name is what becomes a thing of significance, and your story is usually passed down from word of mouth if you like really make it to the future. But it feels a little weird to have statues.
Who are the statues of?
Us. It's you, me, out of character, I guess. You, me, my mother, and then Elnis.
And a couple more scattered
Which-
around of various...
Yeah, but Newsa was looking at the ones of like us too, specifically her, and that's why she looks so uncomfortable about it.
Are these statues like good likenesses? Like, do they look pretty much like them, or are they like style? Like,
Oh, yeah.
are they good?
No, they're real good.
Oh, wow! They really captured your hair.
Yeah, it's weird considering like we've been gone for a year. I don't know. It seems really
Well,
odd to me,
We
and the
can always
plaques.
destroy them.
I
We
mean,
can
I don't.
destroy them if you want.
I just want to find out.
As you
who's-
say that, Lyra, you and Newton and Lula as well hear a familiar voice over your shoulder. I would really prefer if you didn't do that.
Hey, Lyra's gonna turn around. Who is it?
As you turn around and Brennan is standing behind you with his arms crossed.
Hey, I just just figure, you didn't get permission to use the likeness, so really that's our intellectual property, I think. So
This wasn't
One,
your
you
idea,
signed
right?
off all your intellectual property to the school when you signed your contract to go there.
oh,
Second,
that's
I couldn't exactly march a bunch of Warforged into the city. So I had to improvise a little bit.
Are you saying these are Warforged?
I'm sorry, I don't think we've met. My name's Karak.
Oh, yeah.
Brennan looks at you, Karak, and he looks down at your hand and looks back up at you and tilts his head. As he makes eye contact with you, and you hear in your head, "What do you mean?"
Karak's just gonna look kind of confused for a bit because that doesn't happen all the time. I don't think I've met you before, and so I'm introducing myself as an act of goodwill to say hello. My name is Karak.
No, I get what you think you're doing.
What
I'm wondering why you're doing it.
do you? I'm sorry if I've offended you in any way. I didn't mean to.
Most people don't consider me forgetful. Cross that bridge when we get to it. Back to the matter at hand before they realize that this is what they look like when they do this. As Brennan turns back, he goes, "They're bastions, Newsom.
Did you have to dress them up like us?
I had to dress him up like something.
It could have just been a big rock.
They
I'd be
wouldn't
more
have-
comfortable with that.
I mean, I will say it is a lot more. It does seem a lot more intimidating than just a big rock. Like I've seen what you can do, and if anybody else has seen what you can do, then
ugh.
I guess it just feels weird. You know, you like leave for accidentally a year and then you come back and there's like a statue of you. I mean, I guess I'm glad.
Speaking
that it's-
of, we'll circle back to the being gone for a year. I'd love to know what happened, but we'll wait for everyone else to get here.
Yeah, that's probably a good plan.
But after the war, I couldn't exactly march the bastions into the square and set them up in a circle. So, we came up with a concept that so many Minotaurs had died during the war that we needed more concrete foundations besides just stories. Because what happens if the only person who knows a story dies?
Fair.
I guess. I mean, if the only person who knows a story dies, then it probably wasn't a very good story because they never bothered to tell it.
Well, if it helps at all, I agree with you. I think they looked better before.
Yeah, I mean, I personally would much rather see them standing around than me, but you know.
Yeah, well,
I guess if it makes people, feel safer or
it makes people not realize they're there, which is the important thing.
well, yeah. I mean, but they agreed to let statues of minotaurs be moved in, so there must be some benefit to the city.
Ulfast hadn't really had a war like the one with the elves.
Yeah. Oh, no kidding.
But it's good to see you're all back, all in one piece.
It's good to be back, all in one piece as far as we are know, at least. I mean, we don't really know what happened to... Oh, by the way, I guess I should let you all know this. Nom's not dead.
Oh, that's wonderful.
We didn't think
I
he was
knew-
dead. He wasn't
I knew
dead.
it would take more than that to take him out. He's a scrappy one.
Yeah, they don't know exactly where he is, but according to Bathos, they said he is somewhere kind of off the grid around Koboldia. But apparently he thinks we're dead, kind of the same way we assumed he was dead. So,
Do you think we
but
could get a
he's
message to him somehow?
probably, I mean, I assume Elliot could probably magically message him. I don't know if we couldn't really send a letter because nobody knows where he is for sure, just that he's in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do message him, there's a high chance he won't respond.
Yeah, because he won't think it's us, since he thinks we're dead.
Even if he does think it's you, he's been here while you've been gone.
Yeah, a whole year.
And more of, well, your mother, father, and uncle should be back shortly, as well as your mother, Lyra.
Oh.
And we can discuss the finer risks of using magic outside the quarantine.
Oh, yeah, I guess. There's that illness. Well, guess it's best to just wait for them so we can hear it from the horse's mouth.
As he kind of like looks at you. I mean, bull's mouth more like, but same difference. As he walks up to you, Newson, and like just lifts your arm up and starts looking at the tattoos.
Mm. She kind of just, I think it would be, she would kind of be surprised at first, but then sort of just like understanding, like realizing what he's looking at, just kind of like hold it out on her own and sort of turn her arm at the wrist to show like this, it would be the newly acquired, like flaming battleground, I'd say. That depicts this sort of shadow creature and like a smaller form silhouetted against it.
As roll me an insight check, Newson.
Okay. I'm so insightful. Oh, kind of middle of the road. 13.
So as he's looking at this, you kind of get the feeling that he's less looking at the tattoos and more reading into exactly what they mean. Like he's had them for so long that he's familiar with how they depict situations. And he's reading them like he's reading a book.
Interesting. I feel like there'd probably be like a couple points of significance on there. And I feel like Newson probably hasn't even like truly stopped to fully contemplate what's on there. But I think that obviously the most recent battle would be a big one, but there's probably several other like moments of significance that have been depicted. I'm thinking maybe towards the back of the arm because it's a bit more like probably on the bottom of the like nearing her wrist at this point. That depicts a bit more of some of the like interactions that she's had
Mm-hmm. That's
outside
exactly
of just,
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And as he's looking at it, he's kind of glancing up at you. So, Karak, you've never encountered Brennan before, so let me give you a description of the character. Brennan is you would think he's human just by looking at him.
Yeah.
He's about 6 feet tall. He has a muscular build, and on his head is fully covering his head is an iron mask. With just completely featureless, 2 holes over the eyes, then peering out from behind them are just shallow gray eyes. And there is no visible seam in this mask.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's wearing what pretty much appear to be simple traveler's clothes. Like, he's not ornately dressed. If if he wasn't wearing the mask, you wouldn't be able to pick him out of a crowd.
Yeah.
And it kind of seems like that's the entire purpose he's going for.
Yeah. Put up a hood and suddenly you're basically
Anybody.
yeah.
And I think if people are looking, I think Newson's face, like when he's not like specifically making eye contact, would look a bit like reverent, leaning towards sad or like melancholy when she's like looking at him look at these tattoos. Like there's a burden that is there on her face when she's interacting with him, but that she tries to hide when he's looking directly at her or making eye contact, I guess I should say.
Seems like
Got it.
it seems like you've been busy.
Well, it turns out we were gone a whole year, so
Mm.
a lot of shit happened. It was a wild place.
Based on what I saw, it doesn't appear to be your fault.
No, it wasn't. But there wasn't a lot we could do in the situation. There's a lot that we didn't even know was happening.
At one point, one of you should have known what was happening. And he kind of like, you catch, actually everybody roll me insight to see what he means by that.
Okay. One worse than my last insight check, but not as bad as Karak's.
Grok's just confused. It's like, I just met this guy. What did I do?
This guy's got attitude.
Not even attitude. It's like you can tell. It's like there's something wrong
What?
here.
Lena!
Well,
There's like,
All right.
that's my girlfriend. Like touching
Newsin,
on her arm.
Newsin, Karak, and Lulin. Also, Lyra, you're muted. Lyra,
Oops.
Lulin, Karak, and Newsin, you don't notice anything. Lyra, you catch the slightest as if he was going to look over his shoulder at Karak before catching himself and stopping. Like, his chin moves a fraction of a centimeter. And you, like, watch the muscles shift as if he was going to turn and look at Karak. And then they kind of lock up and he goes back to just his normal standing pose looking at the tattoos. Well, let's get inside. You hungry?
Yeah.
Do you need food?
I wouldn't say no.
Well, we'll give you what we can spare.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that Lulin can always whip us something up if we need, but
Yeah.
You might have a slight lack of ingredients, but let's find out. And he kind of leads you all up the stairs. And as he goes to walk into the building, you watch, placed on the side of this building is something that's never been there before, which almost seems like a glowing crystal that you can faintly see like wisps of light moving within. And as he goes in, you watch as he lays a hand on it and inhales, and you watch as the crystal very temporarily gets dimmer before he takes his hand off it and it begins to glow again. As he steps inside, almost with a stronger stride than before. As he leads you all in, and when you get inside this essentially town hall, this single-room longhouse, you see that the big center table that has the map of Olfast on it now is divided into about 9 sections, and each of them has a pile of scrolls placed in a chair next to it, as it seems that there's numbers and notes written all over the sections as he begins begins clearing them off, but he's very clearly clearing them off with the intention of keeping the scrolls on the chairs together with the section that they go to. as he kind of gestures for you all to sit, and he walks over to a barrel and pops it open and just begins pulling out what essentially looks like hardtack. Which, for those who don't know what hardtack is, imagine just the worst biscuit.
Yep.
Like a biscuit you could beat someone to death with.
But it's got all your nutrients.
Like a brick.
And he kind of
Nutrient
just
brick.
tosses one to each of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Don't thank me until you try it. If you have any water, you might want to pour some on there. Let it soften up a little bit.
Good idea.
You see Lulin eating this for years, being in the military.
Lulin,
It's
this is
like
worse
a cup
than
of-
anything you had in the military.
Yeah,
Ooh.
just instinctually, just like gets like a cup of water, shoves it, and just starts mashing it. Just starts trying to like blend it together.
Karak's gonna try and follow suit because that's the chef. They know how to cook. They know how it needs to be eaten.
No, they know how to not chip a tooth.
Newson just bites it.
Chips the tooth.
Nah. My teeth are stronger than that.
As you're all mashing your hardtack, you hear light footsteps coming up the stairs, and then the door opens, and Lyra, your mom, runs over to you and just wraps you in a hug.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, darling, I'm so happy you're okay.
Yeah. So what happened?
There's a lot. We should wait for everybody to get here. But
everyone keeps saying that.
But what happened to you? Have you been eating? The white in your
Yes.
hair's getting a little more pronounced.
I can assure you she's been eating.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Look, I've got this right now. She holds up the hardtack.
Oh, she kind of like grabs you and she like cups your face and she like pushes your head back a little bit and like looks at you. Oh, my little realm walker. You know, it runs in the family.
Have you? What realms have you been to?
Well, I haven't, but I mean, your father told you who your uncle is, didn't he?
Yeah.
It doesn't always run the right direction, but it does run in the family.
Yeah. I guess that's true. That's true.
Anyways, have you been practicing your magic? Anything new?
Oh yeah, I killed a god.
Great final blow, by the way.
Thank you.
In Lou, my uncle.
yeah.
When you say you killed a god, she kind of leans back a little bit and she goes, maybe it runs in a very similar direction.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, it was kind of a special circumstance. He was definitely also trying to kill us. We needed to get the city out of the wrong rail. Anyway, yeah, it's like extenuating circumstances.
Yeah.
Really.
And your
We didn't
your father hasn't been nagging you too much.
Oh, he's doing good. Recently, Lulin sort of like I guess sort of turned Mazebreaker back into just a guy again. And so
Lyra,
I'm thinking, yeah.
you feel her muscles tense up when you say that.
Lyra's
he what?
Lyra's just going on. She's like, so I was thinking maybe we could, I don't know, like if it's possible for him, maybe Dad could just be, person again. That would be cool. But I don't quite know how it worked. I'm gonna ask Lulin.
You can't tell anyone about that.
What?
She kind of like turns and she like looks at you, looks at all of you. If you truly did that, you cannot tell anyone. You cannot let anybody know.
I mean, Mazebreaker's kind of a giant out in the world. Isn't he going to kind of give it away?
You make a good point. As she like begins scribbling a note frantically, and she opens the door and yells, "Messenger!" We'll send some of the guards to the World Tree to prevent him from coming through.
Well, he wasn't trying to come through. He kind of like left out the edge of the crater with a bunch of his buddies and after the fight.
He's actually very kind once you get to know him. Well, kind is a strong word, but he's a strong man, so.
If you think he's kind, then you do not know him.
I didn't think that.
Understandable.
But yeah, he headed off with a small group and didn't really look back, so we don't really know where he's gone, but it didn't seem like he was trying to get through here, at least.
Well, we need to be sure either way. If Vilken finds out that you can bring him back to physical form, he's going to do everything in his power to come after you.
Where do you think Macebreaker's going?
I don't think he's gonna go to Vilken.
That's where he wanted to go. A few months ago.
A few months ago.
To beat him up or
to help him, but I don't think he is. Well, he might be going to beat him up now. I don't
know if, in the kindest and the nicest way possible, I really don't think Macebreaker knows the nitty and the gritty, knows the tiniest of details. But he also knows what we've been vocalized, so I don't know what he's leaning on.
Only time will
and what
tell.
he's thinking.
Well, then we need to be prepared for him to be on the other side.
I believe he stands in that gray area. He could flip either way, in my opinion.
Brennan kind of stands up, and it's almost shaky again. Before he, firms himself and plants his feet, as he kind of looks at you all. If he shows up at the tree, I'll deal with it.
Well, hopefully it won't come to that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to talk to him.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And if he doesn't want to talk, then I'll talk to him.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
If he doesn't want to have a conversation with words, I'll have to speak the language I taught Newson.
He's a bit bigger than me.
I didn't.
Perfect. That means his knees are at punching height.
I don't think so.
I think it's more like.
I'd say it's more
calves?
Yeah.
Maybe like ankles.
Maybe get him in the Achilles.
Well, I have a few of the bastions that I like stored in the woods. I'll take them with me.
Okay.
Newson, roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh boy.
On the dice rolls, can I also have everybody do a perception check?
That's an 11 for the wisdom save, and
Perfect. Yeah, everybody roll me perception checks.
a 17 for perception.
Karak is not perceiving shit right now.
Lyra?
Double that 20. Let's go. Do it.
All right. What does Newson see?
So I think with the conversation about Macebreaker, I think Newson, knowing Lulin's opinion about Macebreaker, Lulin's upset. Lulin's, I won't say visibly, horrifically upset, but his demeanor has lessened. Seeing that everybody thinks of him as not the guy that at least we know or have traveled with, upsets Lulin a little bit.
Mm.
And he's a little bit disheveled.
All right. On that note, everybody deafen up.
Whoa.
All right. Newson, as Brennan goes to walk out the door, you have a flash of an image, the
Mhm.
forest around the world tree is burning.
Jeez. Okay.
As you see Brennan on top of a massive figure, driving his hand into its chest again and again.
Into? Like fully into? Like bloody into?
Like up to the elbow into.
Jesus. Okay.
As there are corpses strewn about, there are pieces of the bastions like embedded in trees in the ground. And you watch as Brennan like stands up, takes a few steps back, and falls over as the mask unclasps and falls off his face.
Can I see his face?
You don't see his face.
Oh,
But you see the
okay.
mask roll out from
Roll
where
out.
he fell down. And then
So it's
the
just-
last thing you see is a figure in black armor walking out of the woods.
Armor that I recognize?
Armor that you've only ever seen Roran wear. And he looks at you and smiles.
I think Newson is going to pointedly, like, glare back.
And then you are snapped back into the world as you hear Brennan's footsteps descending the hill. Or descending the stairs. Let's get everyone back in here.
Oh, yeah.
We good.
We're just waiting on Brambo. Yeah, all right, we're good. Newson,
You know,
what
you
is
don't
your
have to-
what is your reaction to that?
I think that there's definitely like she would probably like tense up a little bit. I feel like I need like a secondary save to figure out how much I react to these.
All right, roll me a charisma save.
Oh, charisma's interesting. Okay.
Well, that's your persuasive intimidation and deception.
Yep, that's fair. Okay, kind of middle of the road.
I'll let
Then-
you decide then.
Yeah, I
A
think they
little
were.
bit of one emotion or the other has to flip through.
Yeah, I think that she would visibly kind of tense up for a moment. And because they still have their winter coats, I think, right now, like, you would see sort of like the hair on her arms stand on end if you're like looking very closely, before she as Brennan is walking away, sort of like takes a jilty step forward, like almost as if she's like falling into it for a second, and then catches herself and is like, "You don't need to go right now. I don't think he's gonna come immediately here."
Because this is such a different thing from how Newson normally
Yeah, you
reacts
can all roll
around
insight.
everybody.
You can all roll insight checks.
Yeah, I was about to ask that.
Your DC is Newson's 12.
Jesus.
Only on the things that matter.
Oh.
Lyra has not a clue.
Mm.
Lyra's still being
Everything's
fussed
good.
over by her mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, oh my god, my hair's fine.
Yeah. Newson, to you
How
all
loud
then,
do you say that, Newson? Like, does it come out in, like, are you trying to be loud, but it kind of comes out in, like, a whisper?
I think that because of this sort of like lurch forward that she does, I think it would start kind of quiet, but then as she's catching, like, you know how when you catch yourself, you kind of go like, huh, you know, like you
Yeah.
raise your voice, it would be sort of caught in that, like, you don't have to go anywhere, like, or you don't have to go right away.
If there's a chance he comes through, yes, I do.
It's, I mean, like I said, I don't think he's coming here or going to bother coming here.
Roll persuasion.
Oh boy. That's a 15 for me.
I'll stay for now, but give me a little bit of time. I need to send runners to the woods to watch either way.
Yeah. I mean, take a little bit of time and actually, like, prepare before you just run over there.
Yeah.
And as he descends the steps, you hear him greet someone in Minotaur at the bottom.
I didn't know you could speak our tongue.
Newson did. I think the entire interactions they had at the top of the mountain were in Minotaur.
Yeah. I think she probably wouldn't even, like, react to it because she's so used to hearing him speak Minotaur. She probably, like standing at the top of the stairs, sort of, like, rub, like, the bridge of her nose and, like, her forehead a little bit before, like, turning back to the group.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
She better be fine, as a pair of arms wraps around Newson and lifts her into the air in a hug.
I'm assuming that's my dad.
That is absolutely Golden Hope.
Yeah. So for you, Karaka, Newson's dad is akin to a Minotaur version of a Highland cow. Long fur. He's got more of that classic, like a little bit of splotchiness in there, but mostly just that classic rust tone, which is very similar to Newson's rust tone fur. But he is a solid 3 feet taller than her. He is massive. When he picks her up, it makes her look like a normal-sized person. He is super broad, has the arms of somebody who has, like, worked every day of his life for as long as he has existed. He is a blacksmith by trade, one of the better, which is how he got the name Golden Hoof, but
well, it's a family name. He didn't get it himself, but
yeah.
And as you take in this figure behind Newson Karak, and she's lifted into the air with the breath hugged out of her.
She probably like, kicks her legs a little bit.
You hear a voice behind him say, "Put her down," and he just drops her. Just arms open, like a child that has been scolded.
And
as
it looks
another
like this has
Minotaur
probably
enters
happened.
the room.
Yeah, it looks like this has probably happened many times before, because Newson catches herself relatively, like, without surprise, and kind of turns to face the other voice. And the female Minotaur has Newson's, like, spotting, but is a much, like, darker brown. You never... So, long horns that kind of stick forward compared to her father's, which go straight up, more like Lulin's. But she is relatively small, more similar to Newson, erring more on the, like, lithe side, all muscle, with a surprise, moves with more grace than Newson does, for sure, but still has, like, a very, an air of being in control of the room, I would say.
And her horns have more of a cracked lightning pattern to them.
Yeah.
That is very distinctive.
Yeah.
As she kind of pushes your father out of the way and wraps you in a much kinder hug.
Newson will hug her mom back since she's getting a real hug this time.
Not a suplex startup.
No leg kicking in this one.
As she kind of, like, moves out of the way and your uncle pushes in. Her uncle looks very similar to her mother, but he is also quite large. He's like Lulin-sized.
Yes.
And
Not quite as big as her dad, but definitely
and
bigger.
notably and quite surprising to Lulin and Nuzin, wearing armor. From, like, armor that starts at his neck and ends at his hoofs. Like a full suit of plate mail.
After hugging her mom, I think she'd take several steps back to kind of make room for everybody to, like, walk in from the stairs. And sort of give him, like, a curious glance and be like, well, I'm not gonna lie. I know a lot changes in a year, but I never expected to see, you in full plate mail.
Keeps you from getting an arrow in the back, kid.
You having to deal with that a lot?
Once or twice. You know, there's a lot of elves in the camp. Not all of them are happy about how things turned out.
Ah, got it.
It's
I
okay.
guess that makes sense.
The armor catches the arrow, their face catches the rock.
I almost misheard that. I was going to say,
Who are you?
hello, my name's Karak.
You got another one?
Look, okay, Nam woke him up out of a rock. We couldn't just leave him there. Apparently he'd been in it for like 1,000 years, and he's been really helpful.
You wake up everyone your pet wakes up as Lyra, your mother, that is my son! Just up in his face instantly, like pointed finger right at his chest. As he looks up at Newson.
Get him.
Armor.
Get him.
This is why we have the armor.
Well, I mean, if you didn't refer to, people, just because someone
It's
is
a
smaller
term
than
of
us,
endearment.
pet is not like a normal term of endearment. That's like a name that you give someone.
Spoken like someone who's never had a pet. Told your parents getting one would do you better.
Ugh. Look, I was always off in the woods. There are animals out there.
Anyways, what's this one's name?
My name's Karak.
You've interacted with furbolgs. He's a furbolg. He's a normal person.
He's got a weird accent.
Well, yeah, he's from the Feywild, but
From the where?
the dimension that we were stuck in for a year.
Wonderful to meet you too. Put her there, as he holds out a hand to you.
Karak's just gonna take it because he's been trying to get any amount of communication, and this is the best he's gotten so
when
far.
you grab his hand, he wraps his hand around yours and then pulls you close and starts looking, almost examining you. And Nuzin, you would recognize this as something that he has done to every male besides Lulin you have ever introduced him to.
Nuzin literally just puts her head in her hand and is like, she's just like,
The greetings here are very strange.
my family is strange.
You're very strange. You said he came out of a rock?
Well, he can turn into rock,
I was in it for a while.
What use is that?
Well, if someone tries to punch you, you turn into a rock, and then they hurt themselves.
Technically,
And then you can get back to
Newton's
fighting.
mom can turn into a rock too, as you just see a bottle fly across the room and bounce off the armor. More appropriately, it shatters on the armor.
I feel like you really got this armor because you've wanted to just try and improve your insult game, but it's not going very well.
I've had so many things thrown at me, I think it's going great. Behind the three of them, a half-orc enters the room. And just kind of nods at all of them. And kind of... The nod to Newton almost has half a glare in it. As Bathos makes his way over and stands next to Lulin.
Nuzin just rolls her eyes.
Lulin shakes his hand. How's it going?
It's been good, yourself.
Could always be better.
Oh, that's the truth.
Lulu takes like an exasperated sigh. Well, you know what they say. Another day in paradise.
If this is your definition of paradise, I'd hate to see your definition of hell.
Lulu chuckles and just pats him on the back. Yeah.
Alright, well,
I don't want to know it either.
now that everyone's here, Thurim. Oh, yes, something, meeting to order. Brennan normally does all this for me. So where the hell have you been?
Oh, well, we accidentally, said Nam used a bean that he was given, and were teleported into another realm that we couldn't leave because it was locked up.
It was a moonflower, right?
Specifically.
Sounds
It was
weird,
Bean
but
World.
okay. As Lyra, your mom slowly turns and faces you.
Hi.
So,
What is that
yeah.
look she has? Is it disappointment? Fear? It's hard to tell.
So we accidentally teleported there, I guess. The bean took us there. We talked to a tree. We walked for a long time. The whole place is kind of fucky and always moving and changing. We found this guy, but he was a rock.
Hello.
Nam took a stone out of his hand, which woke him up, and then he joined us. We
Alright.
went after a moving tower, tried to teleport there, and that's when we lost Nam, who apparently ended up back here, so that's cool. We thought he was dead. I really want to know who the kobold they saw falling out of the sky was, though. Because I guess it wasn't him. That's a question for another time.
I wonder if it was another one of the Caterpillar's challengers.
Oh, probably.
Could have been that.
Yeah. You had to challenge a caterpillar?
Do a smoking contest.
It was a big caterpillar. Like a really big caterpillar.
The look of confusion is apparent on the face of everyone in this room except for Bathos and Lyra's mom.
Well, look, that's beside the point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a side thing.
Regardless, we trekked through.
Are you sure you didn't? Are you sure this whole situation wasn't just a year-long smoking contest?
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, I think only Lulin tried any of his smoke.
Yeah.
He did.
So, the rest of us politely declined.
Lulu just shrugs.
You did a good job, I will say.
Yeah,
That's
Lulu
a-
tried a lot of things while we were there.
There's a lot of things
He
to
kinda
do.
like
Study of
holds
God,
up a hand to you, Newsom,
brought into Horizon.
and he points at Lyra. You're the smart one. Explain better.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, there are different planes of existence. We're on something called the material plane, which is exactly 3.141592.
He holds up a hand again.
Galactic centimeters.
He holds up a hand again, points back to Newsom. Translate.
So like, if this is us, she holds up one hand, and this is another version of us, she holds up another hand. We went from here, she gestures to the first hand, to here with the second hand.
Yeah, they're like.
So let me see if I got this
like
straight.
Sheets of paper existing in different subspaces.
Stop saying big words. Let me make sure I understand. If I have a table
Uh-huh.
and it has a bunch of plates on it,
Yes.
and we're on one plate,
Yeah.
and we go to another plate,
Yeah.
new plate, same table.
Yes. Yeah. That's
Sure.
Yeah, that pretty much
Okay.
that works.
Smart one, continue.
Okay, so basically, this bean from Bean World had enough power, I guess, to transport us to Bean World, i.e., the Pharaoh. In other words.
Stop.
Um,
Stop. Now we're bringing bowls into this.
no, it isn't. Okay, so
I'm not quite sure how beans
basically-
fit into the matter.
Well, because we
Well-
literally had a bean and it took us
a bean
there.
that took us.
The
Yeah.
bean,
Like-
the bean
like,
was like
I'm-
the bean is like a serving spoon. You take it from one plate and put it on another.
You know?
Thank
well,
you. Thank you. Okay, continue.
Okay, cool. So then,
This is going so
Um,
well.
Did you expect it to go any better?
so then really, we kind of like, I don't know, we kind of just like messed around for a little while. We were trying to figure out how to get, the city back to the correct plane because it also got taken. It got taken from this one to the other
We
one.
did notice.
Um,
We did notice that.
but-
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone stole it off of your
We
plate.
kind of messed
Thank
around
you.
a little bit. We met this old man. He was cool. We ran some errands for him.
Oh yeah, we got
I
some.
feel like that's really not the right
Is that
person to
is that
mention.
relevant?
Not really.
It was a side thing.
We
Elliot
so,
wanted cheese.
We
Yeah.
also helped a squirrel.
Look. We got there. We needed to get into the city of another god. You can't get into God's cities without the favor of one of the other gods because there were a shit ton of them there. Turns out there's a bunch of gods. They were all just stuck in this one world.
Newson. I love you dearly. I need this in a language I can understand.
What am I not saying? That doesn't make sense.
Lulin, debrief.
Okay, cool. Right. So the gods, yeah, fucking lot of them. Okay.
Mhm.
Turns out one of the gods was my uncle. Both uncles were there, kind of
I
behind,
give up.
taking the city.
I give up. You were gone. You're back. Enough said. That's
We
enough.
found
from
a
me.
problem. We fixed it.
There's like a lot of important things that we need to mention with this story, though, that you guys need to know. Like the fact that we took all the plates are in a stack now.
It's all in the same place now. They've been put in the
Oh,
cupboard.
yeah.
Why are we not crushed?
Because they're not technically. It'd be like if you took every plate.
It's like if you
Imagine
put all the
if-
stuff on the plate
no,
into the same
yes.
bowl.
Yeah, you took the food off of every plate and poured it all onto your plate.
So everything is here now.
Yes.
Got it.
There are no separate
Holidays with
plates.
your mother.
What?
Holidays with your
Ducks.
mother. I leave my plate out for 2 seconds while I have to talk to someone, and I look back and all of my food's gone on. It's on hers.
I mean,
Ducks.
You've
as,
been to
as he
holidays
feels
with your
like
mother.
something is coming.
I mean, that's it. That's
I would- Mom, you oughta eat
when
faster.
you duck, you just watch a bottle squarely smash on his head as he just. As like
Raymond
you watch a
gets
little
better.
cut form and you watch like a drip of blood goes down and you just see the tongue come out and just need to get a helmet.
Lulu just looks back. Kid just gives her a thumbs up.
You look back, and as you look back, you see Newton's dad handing his mom and her mom another bottle.
So that's the big
Yeah.
thing. Also, because all of the food is on this one plate, there are also like all the. How do I explain this? All the silverware is also on the plate. Does that make sense? It's like, but or like the people
What's the
sitting at the
silverware?
table. I know. I think I got the wrong thing. Oh,
Wait,
the people sitting
I
at the.
I think I've got it. Are you talking about the gods?
Yes, the gods.
So
They're
the
all here
people
now.
serving the food are all now standing around the plate.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
What do
kind
we
of
do if they get hungry?
They
I'm-
are hungry, I think.
I mean,
So-
mostly they just they like it when people like them. So presumably, if people are just like cool with their existing,
I'm lost
I don't
again.
think-
How can food like people?
it's not. They're
It's
not.
like the gods are the chefs, and they like people knowing that they were responsible for what they made. And so when you partake in that and you thank the chef is then appreciative
Happy.
and is more than likely going to want to bring more food.
Thank you,
If
Karak.
that-
Well, if what you
There
said
we
is
go.
true, do we
It's
want
not a
more food
perfect
on the
analogy,
plate?
but
I mean, it's
food's good. I like food.
if you
Lulin's
find
is
a
really good.
yeah, if you find a god you like, you'd probably want more of their food. They can give you
This
different
man
things.
has a 1,000-yard stare, as you can almost hear the hamster in his head desperately spinning the wheel.
Yeah. So,
Long story
yeah,
short,
that's
we let everybody out. Everything came crashing down. And now you're telling us. So we want to hear about what's happening here. How about that? We were gone for a year because there were gods interfering. That's the long and short of it. We didn't even know we'd been gone for a year until much, or well, later, as far as we know.
He's just dead silent. This man is just lost in thought.
So
As
what's happening here, please? I've been asking, and everybody's like, "Ooh, we gotta get everybody else together." So what the
Now
fuck
everybody's
is going on right now?
approximately 9 months ago, in a town called Rook's Rest in the mountains, a plague emerged.
hey, that's
We
where
don't-
we met.
But yeah, it is where we met.
That's
Sorry.
a very strange coincidence.
Yep. So a plague emerged, but not a normal plague.
No. It spread. Well, to put it lightly, it spread like a wildfire.
Oh, I hate that.
It was about 3 months after you left. I'd say 2 weeks after that, they evacuated the college. We were still working with Zraya on the repairs that they promised after the war. And it seemed like it was probably a month later, many of the elves that were working with us got messages from the city telling them not to return. It seems like the elves lost control of their Warforged army, and it was running rampant. Still is, technically. We've had a few skirmishes with them on the border.
Huh.
But it seems like it took us a little while to get set up. There was a month or two where basically the safest thing we could do was not allow anyone into the city, and then the Furbolgs came up with a way to test for the disease.
Oh.
It doesn't work. It has its let me just say it has its limitations.
Okay.
But Arilla has been manufacturing spell scrolls as fast as they can, so that we can attempt to have people cast it and see if there's any signs of the plague. And we've been trying to hold the territory south of the Chestfolk and east of the Shallows.
Hold it from what? The Warforged?
Quarantine. Making sure that nobody gets past it who hasn't been cleared of the plague first.
I see.
From what
there's
we've
enough
seen,
space.
it hasn't been a big risk to us.
Yeah.
There's
because
only
not
been
many-
one or two Minotaurs that have fallen ill with it. But we've been holding it since then. If they pass, if they can cast a spell using the spell scroll, they're let through. If they display any signs of the plague when they do so, they're refused entry. We haven't been able to build as fast as it's taken to get people here. I mean, I'm sure you saw what was outside when you came through the gates.
Yeah. A lot of shanty.
Then there's the whole matter of the Ganassi Civil War.
Yeah, what's...
We don't... I would love to tell you that we knew exactly what was going on or why it happened, but to be frank, we don't. We do know from some of the refugees that have come through that it kicked off about 2 months after the plague hit Slagos.
Huh.
I have one question. Who's Frank?
It's a turn of
You
phrase.
did so good with the analogy. And now I'm afraid that you've made me dumber and I have it wrong.
You brought up someone's name and I don't... Like, he was out of nowhere. There's a lot of new faces.
Understandable. I've been there. Understandable.
Mhm. You can keep going. I'll add it to the pile.
But we've been in somewhat of a holding pattern since then. We try and get as many resources into Zray as we can, and they try and get us as much as they can back for the refugees. Arilla's trying to grow enough food to sate everyone, but tensions are high.
Yeah. Well, okay. And I guess is anybody doing any research on whether this can even be cured? Can people recover from it? Do you guys know?
We haven't been dealing with that, but the elves have.
Okay.
They say it's not promising. Although they seem to have a professor there who has some sort of knowledge of it.
Huh. Okay.
What's
Well,
the progression of the disease like? Like, how does it work?
From what we've seen, it affects magic users uniquely. Everybody we've seen who's had it, and from what the elves are telling us, when you catch the disease, you may not even notice until you try to use magic for the first time afterwards. The magic's powerful enough. It seems to do some strange things. That's how we've been detecting it. Making eyes glow, mouths glow. Seemingly light coming from the pores. But from what we can tell from the progression, that something about it cuts off your connection from the world's magic. The magic drains you instead of coming from somewhere else. After enough time, and with enough magic, it kills.
So this disease is draining a person's life force.
Only seemingly at a rate that they allow it to, but yes.
Lilian's writing all of this down. Specifically, like the details of the disease.
How do
Yeah,
you
that's a good-
catch it?
Yeah, I'd rather not. I only just was given the good news that I still have mine, so I'd rather not
Hang
lose
on,
it.
I have a report here somewhere. As he turns around and begins digging through a pack of scrolls. Very clearly, none of them are a report. As Bathos just leans in and goes, "From what we can tell from the elves, if you cast magic around a carrier, you're done. Distance seems to be about 60 feet.
wow. That's
a lot of space.
That is very extreme.
You can see why it spread through some of the more populated cities.
Yeah. We did hear that it was really bad in Apud, so that makes sense though. It's all magical students.
From what we understand of the way it spread, it hit Slagos first. And from what we've heard from Slagos, more than half the city was infected before they realized what it was. Before they even realized it was a threat.
Wow.
They immediately evacuated Apud either. As anybody looking at Lyra's mom?
Lulu
Um,
wouldn't.
I think
Lulu would
Lyra
be
probably would be.
jotting stuff down and writing stuff down.
Roll insight.
Who
Anyone who's
Oh,
looking
great.
at Lyra's mom.
got
I
it?
probably.
Rock saw them
They're
immediately worry
good.
about their kid and is like, they're good.
20 to 2. Oh well.
We do have 33 rerolls.
We do. Because,
Ooh,
Yeah.
I want to reroll.
I think Newson's probably paying attention to the.
mm-hmm.
Conversation at hand.
Yeah.
It's not.
Would you like to reroll again for the cost of 2?
Sure, why not?
we got
We
33.
have a lot of them. We have a lot. I want to know what's going on.
Of all the people, I would assume Rosie to know what they're... I assume Lyra would know.
Would you like to reroll again for a cost of 3?
That's okay.
Ew.
It's like the dice are not in our we're not in our favor for that.
Yeah, no real
Lyra's not very insightful.
no real indication of anything from your mom. But that's what we know. Hence why I told you in the courtyard that even if you message Nam, there's a chance
It'd be dangerous.
there's a chance for his own safety he wouldn't respond.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, so
Okay.
and you said it's within 60. You can't cast within 60 feet, right? So us sending a message while we're alone is going to put us at, right?
Shouldn't, as long as the quarantine's held, but if he tries to send one back,
Okay, so we should. Okay, so I'll let Elliot know to at least let him know we're alive.
Karok's gonna kind of raise his hand. Do we have a map of the world? I don't know this place that well.
of course we do. As Bathos leans back, and let me update this to the continent map, just so that...
Yeah. We're also on the wrong continent right now.
Yeah, that won't be a problem in a minute. It'll buff. There we go. There you go. As he kind of lays this out on the table in front of you.
Krok's just gonna kind of study over it and be, and it's just like, okay, I can start to get my bearings now.
Chat wants the map. I'll put it in the art channel for him.
I mean, you could just show it on screen right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're on the new map now. I think they want the new map.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the current world map, chat. This is currently where they are. As he kind of looks at you, Karok. Anything else you need? What can I explain on this for you?
Well, there's a fair number of trees. I'm assuming those are the world trees. but I'll just follow along for now. I don't want to take up too much time.
Yes, Karak, if you have any questions, we can
Cool.
at another time
I
You
appreciate
discuss
it.
it.
you hear a triumphant roar as your uncle yells, "I found it!" As he turns around, he goes, "Nope, that's not how you spell magic."
It's okay. I think we got the gist of it.
Oh. Good. So how do you want to help?
That's
Well,
a great question. It started in Slagos, out in the desert.
Slagos is just the first place we saw where it hit hard.
I guess that's fair.
Like your uncle said, we did trace it back to this town. As he kind of taps Rook's Rest on the map.
Well, it
I mean,
seems like
on
maybe we should go there and see if we can't track down what caused this.
Yeah. We could always go to a pood and walk there. If
All of-
we're...
All of you?
All of us what?
Magic, 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 magic. As he points to all 5 of
I
you.
cannot use my magic for like a little while, like a day.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I got a scythe on me somewhere if things go south.
I was perfectly useful without
You
magic.
two I'm not so worried about. Using Lulin. I know you can both hold your own in a fight. Lulin, how much do you remember about your non-magical medicine care?
Pretty well. I have a couple of books in my house about basic remedies, a couple of recipes as well. I can share those with common clinics in the.
I'm more worried about what's going to happen if one of you gets hurt out there. People outside of the quarantine are desperate.
I mean, we'll recover like normal people do.
You watch as he
If they're
kind of
desperate.
like has a look of like, ew, no, on his face. As
I
he
mean-
still has a cut bleeding down the side of his face.
I mean,
I think we'll be okay. I mean,
we're no help here, really. Outside of
if
getting
not us, then who?
supplies. Yeah. Better for us to get out there and see if we can.
If they're desperate, all the more reason to go out and try and offer help.
Yeah.
If you're sure. We'll see what supplies we can get you. As Brennan kind of walks back up and just kind of stands inside the doorway with his arms crossed.
All right.
Alright, I mean, you can all stay for the supply meeting, but we do have more to discuss.
Yeah. Yeah.
I imagine
Um,
we'll be here for a day or so, but we'll be staying at my house.
If we need you, we'll send a runner.
Absolutely.
Okay.
As him, your parents, and Lyra, your mother, begin like poring over the map and begin discussing like this area needs to get more clean water. We need to bring some in from the as they're like just basically talking about like what areas of the refugee camp need what supplies. Like we should double the guard shift here as Vathos and Brennan follow you all out.
Well, that was a lot of new faces, but a lot of friendly faces. At least they felt friendly.
Vathos and Brennan are just staring at Karak right now.
What is this?
What's what?
Newsom kind of like points between the two of them and Karak. What's
I don't
going
think
on
he,
here?
I don't think he knows what friendly means.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't been burned to a crisp, and you allowed me to stay for the meeting, and you offered me food, and that seems rather friendly.
Brennan kind of like blinks a couple times. Well, if that's the bar now.
I mean, I don't know what the bar is here. I'm still kind of new. Winter
Anyways.
has been unkind, but there is warmth and hospitality here, and people who seem to care about people, and that seems like a good start.
Well then. Lulin, off to your house?
Yeah. Well, Lulin's gonna bring up again. Before we rest up, I'd like to try and find Valley and I and my family.
Well, you're gonna have to do...
Some
If you
personal
want to
time.
find Valley and Die, you're gonna have to do quite a bit of swimming.
Yeah.
Her, Ephraim, and Sumter are probably halfway back to Zraya on the steady grip by now.
Then Luza just a long exasperated sigh. I guess I'll visit her father then. Thank you.
Is that the one that owns the bar?
Yes.
Alright, bar instead of house. Works for me. As Bathos, like, picks up Newson's bag again and tosses it over his shoulder.
Newsom still looks like confused as he's walking away carrying her bag.
It's such friendly offering to carry your bags too. So nice.
Karak, Brennan steps up, like, next to you, but a little bit behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Those two could kill each other at a moment's notice. You might need to reevaluate what you think friendly means.
It shifts from day to day, but for now, they're friendly.
Seems like it really does.
I'm happy you agree. And Karak's just gonna go about his day.
As Karak heads off after Bathos, who all's everybody's following, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I
Little
think that Lyra's
try and
gonna
find
try
family.
Sort of like stage whisper to Karak. What she gonna say?
So I will remind you, Lulin,
No.
continue. Lyra.
Oh, I was. She was gonna say, Karak, do you like know Brennan or something?
And I'm assuming I just sort of think back, just like not at all.
No.
He
Yeah,
seems to
okay,
know
it's just
you.
acting kind of weird.
Yeah. I assume I offended him by trying to extend my hand or something. I was probably in the wrong, to be fair.
I don't know. I
It-
mean, granted, maybe that might be the
It's-
case.
It's a new
But
world.
I didn't think that. Yeah, I didn't seem like that was the case. Maybe you should just chat, like talk to him. You know, I
As
guess you could apologize for the handshake.
as you're all walking away having this conversation, Lulin, A, out of character, I'd remind you, Brando, that you saw your whole family in Ohans on the other side of the portal.
Okay. I just didn't know if they would have came back.
No, you guys were the first ones through.
Okay.
But as you kind of go to follow them, Brennan, like, puts a hand on your shoulder and steps close. What do you know about him?
Oh, to me.
To you.
I mean, again, he's from the Feywild. Serves a god, but realistically, he's been kind of saved our asses in the Feywild. We didn't know anything about that area. We didn't know anything what the hell is going on. And we were very fortunate enough to be the first person or the second person we came across.
Keep an eye on him.
Do I think he's a bad person? No. Do I think he's evil? No.
I'm not sure he's a bad... I don't think he's evil or a bad person either, at least he outwardly doesn't show that. But for some reason, the mask remembers him, even if I don't. Keep an eye on him.
Oh, you know I keep an eye on everybody.
That's why I'm not talking to... That's why I'm talking to you and not the one who would have sent me through a wall.
Depends on the day. As Lulu kind of chuckles.
He kind of just turns and looks up at you. Almost try it. Anyways, you have drinking to do, and I have watching sadly to do.
Lulin, gives him like a side hug. I appreciate you.
I'm not sad because of that. I'm sad because I haven't had a good ale in 1,000 years.
Remind me correctly, but he needs magic. Correct?
He does. Yep.
Yes. Lulin's gonna pump him guidance.
You kind of watch as the golden magic hits him and trails up across the mask and disperses. Thanks, but be careful with that. If you want to give me some, you can pump it into the gem, but we're trying to keep the magic concentrated so people aren't casting it willy-nilly.
It's only to close people.
Even if you're casting it on me. Put it in the gem first.
Noted. Thank you. Oh, I'll drink a couple for you.
I mean, I don't know where Bathos is going. He just walked right by the bar.
I don't... Yeah, you said he picked up Newsin? Or
he picked up my bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be Newsin's problem once she figures out she doesn't have her shit.
So the real question is, Newsin, knowing he just walked right past the bar...
Bathos! Hey!
What?
Back this way! She, whistles.
Oh.
Points at the big, brave apple sign.
First of all, don't whistle at me like a dog, I'm a bear. Second of all...
Lulin cat calls him.
Wolf whistle.
Yeah, Lulin wolf whistles him.
Second of all, okay, as you all head inside the bar and sit down, as Lulin, before you manage to touch the seat, there is an ale in front of you. That's putting that cookbook to good work, boy.
I imagine that's Brave Apple.
Oh, absolutely it is. You see a very large, very rotund Minotaur term.
Lulin just gives him the biggest hug. And just cries a little bit.
Aww.
Well, you cry. I know the ale's that good. Boy. Don't worry. I understand that. There'll be plenty more. It's not going anywhere soon. Well, we've had to use most of the apples to feed people. It's going to be a much smaller brew this year. But I'm doing some exciting things with cider. Anyways, what about the rest of you? What do you want? I know you, ale. I know you. I guess I could just get you a napkin or something as he points at Brennan, and Brennan throws him a hand symbol that you guys would recognize as the Minotaur version of a go fuck yourself.
Be like,
I imagine it's kind of just... I imagine that's horns, giving somebody devil horns.
yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Sort of up yours.
Yeah.
I'll be real. I was imagining that, but with the fingers down to show that their horns are stumpy.
That is exactly what that symbol is. Fingers down to show that your horns are cut off. Just go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
He kind of turns as he keeps an arm around Lulin's shoulders. Lyra, what can I get you? Something lighter?
Yeah, Probably. Thank you.
All right, I'll get you the ale we give to the kids.
Ciders.
Oh, I can do that too. I can do that too. We'll get you a cider.
Yeah, or just whatever the 6-year-olds drink is fine.
All right. I'll go get drinks. He kind of looks around, and the bar is empty. Like, there is not enough surplus for him to be serving people. Well, I'll get your drinks, and then I'm going to be in the back. I've got about 500 potatoes that need cut up and mashed, so.
I can give you a hand.
Kind of looks around the table. Seems like all of you need to talk, boy. We'll have plenty of time. I'll come by the house later.
Thank you. And Lulin gives him like 2 satchels of like spices that he would have procured at like the Feywild.
Well, I'll be saving these for myself, but don't worry, I need to come by and talk to you anyways, if you're going to make an honest woman out of my daughter and all that.
Lulin's like, ah!
News is like sips and looks off to the side like, ooh.
There's just like leaning back and listening intently.
All right, leave you all to it.
Yeah.
As he kind of walks off, leaving you with Brennan and Bathos. As Brennan, like, looks around the bar and he goes, all right, nobody's watching. Here's what actually happened. About a year ago, there was a surge of magical energy in Rook's Rest. I followed it for a while, and then it went to Stipvale. And then it tried to get into Brester. I lost it from there as the quarantine was put up. But I think we both know what I'm talking about. Luckily, I knew you weren't dead.
Oh, that's nice.
Pharaoh gave me a detailed description about the purpose of each gift. The one he gave Nom was meant to take you where it took you.
Huh.
Oh, thank the gods for that. Otherwise, I'd still be in the stone.
We don't thank gods here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll try to be more... What's the word? Considerate.
You had no way of knowing.
Yeah,
I think-
we never had gods here.
Yeah.
So
When he says we don't thank the gods, Nuza would kind of like I think she would do sort of a like not even thinking, like almost look over the shoulder before looking back at the conversation.
Well, I'm still trying to wrap my head around that, but I'll figure it out. Anyway, I'm sorry for interrupting.
Well, that's about the gist of how things have gone on our end.
Okay.
I just figured your friends would do well with knowing that we knew more about it than Newson's family did.
Yeah, so is there a reason that all of this information isn't like public knowledge?
Well,
I mean, not public, but like, you know, known to the leadership.
inner circle knowledge.
Because they still don't know anything about the locksmiths, or the planes, or the war.
Got it.
And to be honest, they have enough to worry about without that.
Mm-hmm.
Be more of a danger to them knowing.
Mm-hmm.
If they know about Roran, he could see them as a threat.
Yeah.
If he sees them as a threat, he will wipe them out.
Mm-hmm.
You said that like you know something about Roran. Do you remember something?
Just what Elliot told me.
Rem-
Seems Velkin was on their side for a long time, and that was Velkin's MO. So
I wouldn't
Should
call what they
he?
were doing being on the same side.
Yeah. More like imprisonment and use.
But from what we tracked, seems like Roran was following your footsteps, looking for something.
Along our path.
Those were all the places that we visited in order.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm just trying to think of what he'd be looking for on our path.
maybe something you missed.
Well,
Something he left behind.
it seems to me like he stopped. From what I've understood of our conversations, at about the same time that you lost Belkin. Might be why I haven't picked him up since Brester.
So, I mean, I guess it would make sense that he'd be after Vulcan. Revenge, I guess, but
We still don't know what he's after.
yeah.
We're hoping you might have a little bit of insight.
Well, we know he's after a specific bunch of artifacts that are in the hands of a variety of people.
So maybe he was seeing if Velkin had you hide any of them while he was working with you.
Yeah, but we wouldn't have known if we were hiding them in the first place, would we?
That is Velkin's MO.
Yep. Why bother telling anybody anything? Everyone's a liability.
Well, I can't say I agree with that prospect.
Yeah, it
But
seems
there
a
was
bit.
a time when it had its merits. That time is long past.
Yeah.
As Brave Apple comes out and drops off drinks, Brennan kind of goes silent as he heads back to the back. So you want to go to Rook's Rest?
Maybe?
Seems
don't
like a
know.
good place to start.
I mean,
I
if
think
it
it's
passed
either
through there, then he probably didn't find what he needed there, right?
the whole point of going to Rook's Rest is to figure out what started this epidemic.
Yeah.
It's either we go there to figure that out first, or we go straight to the other town and figure out what he's looking for.
Or we go straight to the source and get Velkin to actually tell us.
I wouldn't mind getting to see him till I can bash his face in, throw that punch you said you were going to teach me about.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't know if now is the right time for that.
Fair. Bigger issues at play.
Which
As
leads
much
to
as
the
I would
question,
love-
where is Belkin?
Yeah, that would have to be known first.
Mhm.
But
Well,
priority comes to either
Keep-
A, figuring out where this epidemic started and working to find a cure, or at least slow it down, or
people come first.
figure out what our enemy is after and try and stop them from getting more of what they want.
I
Because
think
we've
you're
already assumed that
looking.
they got one thing from Brester. Assuming that they got it. The next thing I think is that we should figure out what else is on that list and stop them from getting it. Instead of trying to get the one back.
Yeah.
Those, I think, are the most two important things on our list right now.
I don't think the plague is so much of a how as a why.
Yes.
Roran was perfectly happy with working in the shadows up until you left. What changed?
I think Lulin...
Are we waiting on an answer? Because I don't have one.
Yeah, Lulin looks at Newsom.
I don't. Anyone?
I don't think we're entirely sure. Something definitely happened while we were bringing the city back to Elliot. He
How
died
recently was that?
very recent. Well, very recently.
Mm-hmm.
Roughly 2 days ago.
2 days, yeah.
The timeline doesn't really add up then.
Well, 2 days for us.
Yeah.
For some reason, you going there made him afraid enough to tip his hand. We need to know why.
I mean, maybe the other gods are a threat. It's easy to move about a world where there's no competition.
It's also harder to. I don't know why I've lost my train of thought. Ignore me.
Lulin's eyes brighten. We brought the gods here.
That is true.
Wasn't he trying to get rid of them? Maybe that's why he's scared.
Depends on how much of Velkin's story you believe.
At face value. That's the information we have.
At face value, Velkin started the whole war on the premise that Roran was trying to consume them. You'd think he'd be ecstatic that they were back.
Yes. But maybe that wasn't the whole truth. Again, it's just a hypothesis, it's just an idea. If he is scared of them, we brought the gods here to all the connecting planes.
I think we're on the right track, but the question is, how do we prove it?
Lulin just shrugs his shoulders. Listen, I'm 2.5 ales in. This is what you're getting out of my brain.
I'll be honest. I haven't taken a sip because last time I took anything from here, I was wasted the entire day from a single drink. I'm kind of worried. How fast should I drink this, Lulin?
Well, Lulin's already 2.5 in, and I got a 13 and a con save. So you tell me, Mr. DM.
You're pretty drunk.
Yeah, Lulin's also not in the best of mind right now.
Remember, you had a year of unintentional sobriety.
Yeah.
Hey, Newsom.
Yeah.
How's Newsom acting right now?
Uncomfortable, I think. Like a distinct absence of drinking her
Uncomfortable in
ale.
terms of just uncomfortable, or uncomfortable in terms of people should be making insight checks?
Like a healthy amount of uncomfortable, or this isn't
Like a healthy amount of uncomfortable, or I know more about this and I need people to know uncomfortable.
Probably the second one, I think.
All right, everybody roll me some insight checks.
There's
I'm
a
gonna do mine
distinct
at disadvantage.
Lulin, you crit failed. Hurrah.
Yeah.
not 20'd.
Newsom's hiding something.
Newsom? Now of all times isn't...
Lyra,
the time to
Newsom
be
looks
keeping
very
secrets.
uncomfortable.
It isn't the time. We need every piece of information that we can if we're going to be solving this. And if you have anything to contribute to the discussion, we would very much appreciate it. Something's eating at you.
think Nuzin kind of narrows her eyes at you and gets a little like tense, but in a really defensive way, like feeling that like you've had a lot of conversations with her about how you like what you have is charisma and that's how you like get what you want. And so she feels very much like she's being managed in this moment of like, just tell us, like, it's okay. And it makes her, like, you see her visibly tense up and it kind of turns from a uncomfortableness to, like, an actual anger of, like, you don't know me kind of thing. And you get sort of a glare, I'd say.
You're not. There's just something wrong. Normally, you're so sure of everything, and I just want to know if there's something you're unsure of. We trusted you throughout the entire time there. I followed you. I followed all of your leads while we were in a world that was mine. At least when it came to other people.
Nuzin, while you're glaring at Karak, you have the distinct feeling that Brennan's eyes are boring into the side of your head. Because he's read the tattoos.
Yeah.
We fought someone I thought I would never be able to stand up to, thanks to you. If there's something that you're worried about, I'm going to trust your judgment on it, but I need to know what that is. You're allowed to tell me or not tell me. That's up to you. I just want that to be known. That
I think we're a little bit past people being able to keep information at this point.
Mm-hmm. I just know I can't make you tell me. It's up to you.
Good news for you, Nuzin, is I'm not sure I can either.
If you don't think it's that bad of a deal, if it's something you can deal with on your own, I trust you.
A lot of what I know is sort of an ever revolving door. Things change pretty frequently, but
Relatable. Maybe not in the way that you know what I mean. Learning new things every day.
she sort of like grips her cup. The levity does not make its way through. She sort of like grips her tankard and is like staring very intently into it.
Nuzin is hearing Karak's words, but she's hearing Brennan's tone.
Yeah, exactly. When we were in the Feywild, actually, shortly after our, I guess, what ended up turning into a year of
many conversations
spent time, we met a god who is the god of inspiration and a bunch of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And when he went to leave, after rewinding time, apparently for a full year that felt like a night,
it was a lot.
I ended up agreeing to make a deal with him.
Oh. Oh, well.
He was very invested in my story, and I wanted to feel like I was maybe more in control or had more understanding of what's going on around us. So, in exchange for providing him with the story of my lifetime. He offered to enhance some of my ancestral powers. So I don't just I can't originally I could sort of inquire whether something was or wasn't a good idea, but it was very vague. Now I actually see things. There's not a lot of like control over it right now. It sort of just happens when I'm talking to people sometimes.
Oh.
What do
but
you see, Newsom?
I see a lot of things. I've seen things that I've managed to intervene on. I've seen things that have changed. And the deeper I look, the more different ways it can go. But that's why I wanted to stop you, Brennan, from going to the tree. Because when we talked about Mazebreaker, I saw a very bad future if you two come to blows. Not just you and him, but a lot of people would get hurt from that. But ultimately, it looks like nobody really wins that fight. Everyone just dies. And I don't know what that's going to...
Hold out her Lyra's gonna hold out her hand to Nuzin. She was... Yeah.
I think Nuzin will just sort of like slide one hand off the tankard and like put her hand like probably under Lyra's actually. I think and sort of like tightly hold it, but not like with like a very like specific understanding of her strength. That sort of like I need this reassurance, but I'm not gonna like crush your hand.
Yeah.
Newsom,
Yes.
I need you to make me a religion check
Oh boy.
at advantage.
Okay.
Ooh.
Skills, religion, advantage. That's a 14.
As you're saying these words to Brennan and you hit the words, nobody wins that fight, you kind of see the image of the vision you saw in your head.
Mhm.
But instead of fading, the lines get harder.
Okay, the hand clenches a little extra tight
Yeah.
before she sort of like re-releases her grip a little bit like shakily. And there's sort of like a moment of like 1,000-yard stare, I think. Before she is just like shakes her head a little bit and continues on. But one of the visions that I saw was of Lyra. And it involved Roran. And so I decided to look deeper into that when I was sort of trying to learn from this new patron that sort of follows me around. But when I did, he sort of became aware that I could see him. And instead of it being sort of a amorphous future, it became like a direct contact. And in that moment, it was sort of like, I guess we became maybe a real threat, but he wasn't always this. He came from another world that was dying and worshipped the gods. And when he saw all the suffering, he called out to them for help, and they granted him a god status in exchange for everything. He forgot everything about himself and what he was fighting for, but he became a god in order to protect those people. But unfortunately, it was only a temporary fix, and eventually everybody on that plane died. And when all the people were gone, it severed all connection to the rest of the gods. They couldn't hear anything because there was no conduit. And so he was stuck there, essentially in a black void for who knows how long, until Velkin plucked him out.
And we know how that story ends.
Yeah. Except that there's more about his motivations. I think, I mean, he probably wants Velkin for the power that he has. He's the only one that's ever found the plane that Roran is originally from, and what he really wants is to bring them back. At any cost.
So how do the artifacts fit into this?
I imagine that they must work together to grant him the power to reach that plane or bring it back to life. But it's meant to replace ours. I mean, the sword that we just got from, you know, the Feywild and the Keeper appears to be able to direct souls. It seems like a lot of the, you know, what we know of certain artifacts, like the Eye, they all seem to have sort of a connection to the core of people, of soul, of future. And I'm assuming that...
Whose sword was it?
Well, it was with Ro.
Shit.
But Elliot has it now. It's actually, I think, what killed him.
I'm less worried about who has it and more worried about who had it.
Why do you say that?
Avery and Ro were the grandsons of a bard that traveled with Pharaoh. Which means two of the artifacts link back to the same place. And the other people who were in that group are Breton's father and Valley and I.
And you think all of them have these artifacts?
Pharaoh said he found his eye in a tomb. That's where they made their score. That's when they retired. Do we know how many artifacts there are?
I would have seen how many Lyra handed over in that vision, yes?
Yes, but I'm going to have you all roll a history check, specifically for our note-taker, Rosie.
Yeah,
I will.
Well, I might have it written down somewhere.
I will be abstaining from this roll because Karak wouldn't know shit about it.
I rolled
Fair.
a disadvantage because drunk.
Yeah, if you can find it in your notes, you can have it, because I know for a fact that you have a list of the dark artifacts.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, I'll roll anyway just to get things keep them moving.
We'll roll to see how long Lyra takes to remember.
Okay.
I mean, I could also, like, intentionally look back at that memory so I can count, or that vision.
Okay, I need the notes because I don't
Okay,
remember the total number off the top of my head.
Oh my god.
I think it was 5, but
I also
haven't
think it was
counted yet.
5. There was the book, the armor, the sword, the eye, and the mask. There were 5.
Was there also a lantern?
There were
Was there a
6.
lantern?
Was the mask
Well,
a
no,
part
there
of
were
it?
5 that. There were 5. There were 5. New Lyra, when you find it, you would remember 5. Newson, you would have seen 6.
Okay. I'm pretty sure in my vision there were 6 of them, from what I could see, being handed to Roran.
So that leaves the other 2 members and 2 of the artifacts unaccounted for, if we're assuming both of them have one.
Yeah.
And right now we're 50-50 on the artifacts he had that we know about. Fantastic.
It was the eye, the Black Lantern, sword, the mask, armor, book.
Okay, so he did. So the mask was mentioned.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
So it's 78.
So that's what I've seen. And the plan, came directly from Roran when he grabbed me out of the vision and into whatever was going on there. But he also has the same powers as me and was granted them by the same god, or did, probably before he became a god, anyway. So.
Well, that could explain why he upped the ante.
Yeah.
If he was afraid that you were going to be given the same gift that brought him to where he is,
I would be a threat.
and he would need as much time to get ahead as he could.
Yeah.
So what's the plan?
We've got to convince everybody to give up their artifacts, I guess, so he doesn't get them first. But that didn't go very well with Pharaoh, and it got him killed, so.
Some would say Pharaoh got himself killed. You having the same problem he did? There any point where you're seeing nothing?
I haven't tried to look that far in the future, honestly. I haven't tried to look anywhere except for that one time that I tried to look, into Lyra's, or the vision I had of Lyra, but got grabbed by Roran in the first place. Everything else kind of just happens haphazardly, and most of it hasn't been too distant in the future. A lot of it has been things that have manifested within a few days. I could try and look, but
Well, I've hoped you've begun to manifest things slightly farther into the future than a few days.
I guess I'm gonna have to try.
Well, from the sound of it, otherwise I end up dead.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I'll
Go
I'll
rest.
see what I can
you
do.
can do.
Yeah.
I won't make any moves on the tree until I hear from you again.
Yeah. Um,
Hopefully, if our old friend comes out in the meantime, he's on our side.
I think it's probably better to try. I did tell him about the fact that Velkin was using Roran's power, and as far as I could tell, he seemed genuinely surprised to hear that. I don't think that he knew what Velkin was really doing, which tracks. He is really good at convincing you that you're really important and in control of what's going on until you're not. And by then, you know, you don't have anything left. So, I don't think that Mazebreaker is going to go help Velkin. But I don't know if he's going to be on our side either. It could go either way, but I think if anyone's going to be able to convince him, it'd probably be Lulin. I mean, Lulin's the only guy he's ever really liked in our group. I know I certainly haven't gotten along with him ever.
I mean, he liked me for a little bit at the end there.
One
Only
way
'cause
or
you agreed
another.
with him.
One way or another. We can't have him tearing across the continent going after Velkin.
Yeah. But we also can't have you all killing each other.
Roll a wisdom save.
Oh boy. Saves wisdom.
You,
13.
you get another flash and the colors become more vivid.
Fuck. I think she actually says that out loud. And, like, puts her head in her hands and just sort of, like, rubs her temples.
And that's where we'll end the session.
Oh boy. Lore dump.
Ending
Lord
a session
Dump
off
and
with the word fuck.
Yep.
Lord Dump and a drunk
Lord.
Lulin.
Yep.
Thank you everyone for being here. Thanks for having a wonderful time with us tonight, even through our technical difficulties. Thanks everyone for hanging out. We're going to send everyone on over to the King of Starfish.
Yeah.
Playing Coral Island, which I don't know what that is.
It's like
it's a fun, cozy game.
yeah.
Enjoy fun cozy after your trauma-filled evening. Thank you to all of our players. We have Lyra Dream Shadow, played by
Hello, I'm Rosie. One Rosie CS on the internet.
What was your favorite part?
Oh, I forgot that.
Holden Elliott.
My
Holden
favorite
Isaac.
part of today. What?
Holden Isaac.
True. It's being the first person is scary. Okay, I get it now. Oh god, my favorite part of today. I like the little Lyra Newson moment where she like held her hand. Also worth noting, Lyra did not look surprised by any of this info.
That is true.
So
And then we have Karakareem, played by
Hello, it's Terminian Link VT, and my favorite part was Karok's Nat 20 for Newson's discontent.
Very true.
Very true. And then we have News and World Walker, played by
It's me, the Sky Tea. I liked lore dumping, but also I love the fact that Rosie literally read my mind because I was thinking about having Newson reach for Lyra's hand in that moment, and you were just like, "I got you."
I was gonna get in there.
Yeah.
And last but not least, we have Lulin Goldspeaker, played by
To me, Brembo. I loved the lore dump, especially the fuck at the end.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you for having a wonderful time. I will be live again tomorrow doing the Baldur's Gate Tactician No Companions run,
Good luck.
which is hell, but I think I'm about halfway through Act 1. I really need to find a way to get some experience, or I am not gonna. I need to get some gold, actually, is what I need to figure out how to get.
Start pickpocketing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think what I might have to do now that I've helped the goblins is maybe Dror Ragslin will give me his key so I can get access to that sweet, sweet hoard.
True.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now that I've broke.
Yes.
Right now I am a Warlock Monk multi-class.
Okay. Okay.
Because
I'm assuming Pact of the Weapon?
no, the game
No.
plan actually, because Pact of the Blade is not a thing in Baldur's Gate, is I am Pact of the Fiend so that I get temporary hit points when I kill an enemy.
Yes.
And then I have the Devil's Sight so I can see through darkness, and I'm going to take 3 levels in Monk to get Shadow Monk so I can use my key points to create darkness around me, and then fight in that darkness using Devil's Sight. 'Cause it'll give me
Oh.
advantage and enemies disadvantage.
That's pretty good.
That's really nice.
And I'll basically just smokescreen like every good Pokemon trainer.
Yep. Yep.
And hopefully I don't die in the process. But I've died a lot of times already, and I'm sure I'll die a lot of times again. But I know that one thing I have to do, regardless of what run I'm doing, is tomorrow night I have to go see Scratch.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Go see the good boy.
I gotta get the good boy in my camp, even if I'm gonna be a bad boy.
Exactly. The pupper deserves love.
And then maybe, depending on how it goes, I might try and do something that's gonna break my heart. Because I need the XP. And I'm pretty sure she can't catch me. Might have to go kill Karlak.
Damn.
That's what I was thinking.
But everybody,
R.I.P.
I'm going to send you off to this King of Starfish. I'll see you tomorrow night at 9 p.m. CST for more Baldur's Gate. And until next time, don't do anything I wouldn't do. The bar is low, but tomorrow it gets lower. Have a great night, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah.
Have fun with Starf.